Hi, my name's Jake. I'm 26, and I just moved back into my parents' house. I gotta admit, moving back into my parents' house at 26 was not something I saw happening, but here we are, and it could be way worse. I've had worse roommates than my parents before, so I can't complain too much. How did I end up here? How did this happen? A little less than a year ago, I moved out to Colorado with a good friend of mine, and this past May, I broke my foot and could not work, and I was going to have surgery. I was living alone at the time. My roommate had already left Colorado, so I was by myself. I was almost 1,000 miles away from any family, and healing a broken foot while not working, while living alone, seemed like a pretty difficult task. So I think it was a net positive to move back to my parents' place. And I'm so grateful that they gave me this opportunity. So, in the midst of breaking my foot, moving back home, living with my parents now, I was feeling pretty dejected. There was a lot of like unfulfillment. I moved out to Colorado to climb and to be outside and to ride my bike and to make new friends. And I didn't really do any of that. For whatever reason, I just wasn't getting outside. I was really comfortable with just homebodying and staying in my house all the time. So I get back to my parents' place, and there's just this notable feeling that I have in the sense of like feeling a little unaccomplished. And if you're anything like me, I feel like I'm not doing much. It's probably because most of my time looks like this. And so I'm spending a lot of time on the phone. I don't really know anybody in my parents' town aside from my parents. And I've got like some more family in the surrounding areas. But for the most part, it's pretty much just me and my mom and my dad. And that's great. Again, I'm not bashing my parents. I'm really grateful for this time. But I just can't shake this feeling of like there being something that I want to be doing or I should be doing that I'm not doing. And that's what brings us here today. For as long as I can remember, I've been wanting to make movies and make videos specifically about like outdoor adventures. I grew up going to this like mountain film festival with my dad as a kid, and I think that really inspired me and interested me. I was always riding my bike as a kid. I raced bikes for a really long time. So being outside is like important to me. And for the first like 2 months that I moved in with my parents, I was just lamenting this fact that I was living in like the greatest place I could possibly have been to do these things, and I wasn't doing them. On top of that, for years, I've wanted to make movies, and I haven't been doing that. And it's easy for me to like justify not doing something by saying it's not the right time, or I'm not equipped to do the right thing, or I'm just waiting for the perfect moment. But I really am doing myself a disservice in that. I think it's time to just rip the bandage off and start doing the things I want to do. So that's what we're doing today. This is kind of the inaugural attempt at documenting this process of me literally and figuratively getting back on my feet. As it turns out, I did not have to have surgery. So I was able to get a day job pretty quickly after moving back to the area. So I'm working again, and I still have some free time to do my own thing. I'm putting together a plan to get me back outside, to have these adventures that I've wanted to have, and I want to document the process of doing that. So here we are. This is day one of doing that. I also want to commit to this plan as seriously as possible. A lot has been taken off of my plate in moving back to my parents' house, so I can kind of focus on these lofty goals. It's a luxury that I haven't really been afforded in the past couple years in just worrying about my day-to-day life, what with rent and bills, yada, yada, yada. I'm not really doing this to entertain anyone. This is really more so going to be me getting back in shape, doing things I've wanted to do for a long time, and finally making a video about it, because I've wanted to do all of those things for a while, and for whatever reason, I could excuse myself out of doing it, and that's just not fair to anyone, especially myself. So it starts today. If you watched this whole thing, I apologize. This was pretty much like a 20-minute yap session, and I don't really expect you to want to follow along at this point, but I'm going to keep doing it because it's for me. So, good job, Jake. Nice job moving back into your parents' house, and I'll keep you updated.